Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Mishtan Foods Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Devdutt Nayak. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mishtan Foods Limited Quarter 2 FY22 earnings conference call for analysts and investors. Joining us on the call today are senior members of the management team, Mr. Ankur Kumar, Chief Strategy Officer, Mr. Shashi Parekh, Finance Head, and Mr. Saurabh Makwana, Chartered Accountant. We will commence the call with opening thoughts from the management team, post which we will open the forum for Q&A session, where the management will be glad to respond to any queries that you may have. At this point, I would like to add that some of the statements made or discovered on the conference call today may be forward-looking in nature. The actual results may vary from these forward-looking statements. A disclaimer to this effect is available in the Mishtan Foods Q2 FY22 earnings presentation, which has been shared earlier. I would now like to invite Mr. Ankur Kumar, Chief Strategy Officer, to commence by sharing his thoughts on the performance and strategic progress made by the company. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Devdutt, for handing over the mic to me. A warm welcome to all of you for the Mishtan Foods Limited Q2 FY 2022 earnings conference call. We have shared our result documents with you earlier. I hope you had a chance to glance through the documents. I'll be briefly sharing my views on the performance of the company and the trajectory going forward. In the fiscal year of 2021, the country suffered from the pandemic, and only recently we have been able to get back to normalcy. But the good news has been that Mishtan Foods Limited has been a very resilient performer, and we have given an excellent performance during even the COVID pandemic period. I would like to thank our team for this tremendous agility to deliver a resilient performance in the second quarter of FY 2022 as we boldly navigated through difficult waters. I am proud to announce that MFL is no longer just a leading agro-product company. By diversifying our portfolio and adding further more products to it, we have now emerged as an FMCG company. You will be very happy to know that along with basmati rice, which has been our precursor product, we have also been able to introduce salt, edible common salt, to a line of products. We are also introducing organic food line in the portfolio and consecutively become one of the strong players in these products as well. We are adding capacity to our present processing capacity and aggressively venturing into the global expansions. The company has recently opened its office in Dubai, and very soon we will be touching the waters of Europe and United States of America, and also the economy of Singapore. I'll briefly touch upon the key financial highlights of the company year 2022. In Q2 FY22, our revenues increased by 72.79% from the previous quarter to rupees 125.05 crore, despite the problems that people faced during the pandemic. We have also been able to increase our profits. EBITDA improved by 74.48% from the previous quarter to rupees 10.65 crores, translating to EBITDA margin of 8.51 and EBIT margin of 7.52%. Profit after tax stood at 6.49 crores, which grew by almost 86% from the previous quarter. That concludes my opening remarks, and I would now request the moderator to open the forum for questions from participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may please press star, then one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star, then two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. To ask a question, please press star, then one. Participants who would like to ask questions, please press star, then one. The first question is from the line of Prabhat Somani from Somani Family Office. Please go ahead.
Hello. Am I audible?
Please go. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes. Actually, I wanted to ask, as there are so many brands in rice like India Gate, Queen, Basmati, etc., and it's already a very competitive market. So how we are positioning ourselves and standing in front of so many big players?
Mr. Kumar, you're on mute. Excuse me, this is the operator, so we can't hear you.
I hope you heard my question, right?
Sir, requested to please wait on the line while we check the connection for Mr. Ankur Kumar.
Yes.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for patiently waiting. The line is reconnected, so you may go ahead.
Shashi sir, if I may take the question from Mr. Somani.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Shashi sir, may I take the question from Mr. Somani?
You go ahead, yeah, because I could listen only half the question.
Yeah. Mr. Somani, thank you for giving us a chance here. Well, compared to our competitors, we might be a new company, but then, this family has been in the business for the last 30 years. This is basically the second generation which has stepped into the business. So over all these periods, we have built up a very strong network of almost 45,000 retailers. Mr. Somani, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So over this period, we have built up a strong network of around 45,000 retailers, which in the next 3 years will be increasing to around more than 1 lakh. So the company is very aggressively trying to, add more retailers into the business. So as a result, what happens is that we have already created a niche market for ourselves in many states around India, especially in the southern states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and Maharashtra. We also have, very strong tie-ups with merchant exporters who take our product to overseas markets like Oman, Bahrain and United Arab Emirates. So let's say that, the kind of selling market that we have is more or less based on what can be called as brand loyalty. So taking forward, we should be able to maintain whatever revenue turnovers we have been maintaining, plus we'll be able to add more to it in the coming years. So we don't see that as a bottleneck, sir.
Right. So what are the strategies you are looking for, and how will you position yourself and highlight your branding and marketing exercise there?
All right. See, for all these years, the company was only believing in, word-to-word marketing. since we have been dealing with all these people for more than 20, 25 years. So the company did not believe in getting into an established marketing campaign. But what we have recently did is, during the pandemic time, we got a lot of time to introspect. So the first thing that we did is that we are aging our rice more. So earlier, our best brands used to have rice which were, 6 months old or maybe, 9 months old. Now we are trying to put in products in the market which will be 12 to 18 months old. As Basmati as a product will fetch premium if it is aged. So that is the first strategy that the company has taken. Apart from that, we are in the process of starting a national media campaign and a couple of regional media campaigns. There is also contemplation of taking a national level brand ambassador who would be featuring on our advertising as well as on our product. So that is a little bit of short review that I can give you on it, sir.
Okay. So does the management have a determination to continue to develop product or processes that will still further increase their sales potential when the growth potential?
Absolutely. Let me tell you, India is a very strong economy. India is a very strong economy when it comes to population. With 135 crore people sitting here in this country, selling something in the FMCG sector is never going to be a problem. Number one, we are increasing our market. Initially we were only marketing in the southern states or maybe Maharashtra, West Bengal, etc. Now we have found up a new market which for us, that is the northeastern sector. As I already said, we are introducing salt into our portfolio. So the first market that we are going to very aggressively market our product is the northeastern states. The seven sister states have a market of, around, let's say 10-12% of India's population. And then what happens is that we are able to, establish ourselves as a salt manufacturer, automatically, they will also ask for other products. But in the meantime, we have already sent a huge containment of, let's say, basmati rice to our retailers who are trying to push it further. So even if our existing markets stagnate a bit, which is a very remote possibility, even if it happens, we'll be able to push it in the states of Northeast, we'll be able to push it in the Hindi-speaking markets, we should be able to push it in Punjab, Haryana, as well as, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. So even if, we have a little bit of, stagnancy in our existing markets, it should not affect us much.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir, for answering.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Keval Ashar, an investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I had 2-3 questions. So first on, what would be the spends on marketing? As you said, you are also hiring the national brand ambassador for national distribution.
Keval, the company is thinking of a late 2-figure to a early 3-figure marketing campaign. Right now we'll start with a very minimal expense because we'll only be getting into a print and media campaign. But looking at what you were asking, I'll just say that the national level brand ambassador is going to cost us something in the 2 figures.
Okay, got it. And in terms of what would be your maximum margins that we can do at 100% of capacities, and also what is the maximum top line that we can do at 100% operating capacity?
Keval, let me tell you here that a little bit of academic background on it. Basmati as a product ages a bit and then it starts fetching premium. So if I sell you something like 6-month aged Basmati, that's going to fetch me 5% or maybe 6%. When I age it to a year, that's going to fetch me something in the range of 12 to 15%. And when I age it in the range of nearly 2 years, that's going to fetch me 2 years. In a lighter vein, I might say that Basmati is very much comparable to Scotch whiskey. So the higher I age it, the higher premium I get. Now let's say that keeping my entire brand portfolio divided into different kind of brackets, my EBITDA, my margin should cross the 2-digit figure in the next quarter.
Okay, and will it be sustainable?
Yeah, it will be sustainable. See, one thing as a strategist, I would like to tell you is that, till now the company was just sitting on its back. The company wasn't doing anything. If you look at the financial figures of the company, last 3 years, stagnant revenue. Last 3 years, profit have been going up and down, depending upon, what the conditions were. But if you look at the company now, the company has come up with new products. The company has come out with a revamped management. The company has a a strong, professional team which has joined it. So accordingly, what happens is that whatever planning was lacking earlier has now, been introduced into the business, and it's delivering results.
Great. So great to know that company is revamping itself. So what would be the targets, your estimates for FY 22, 23, 24, coming 3 to 5 years in terms of top line and bottom line, if you've had any targets?
This year we should be costing 600 crores. Without doing anything extra. Half the year is already done, and maybe in the next 6 months with the festival season onsetting and the kind of products we have developed for the market, I think we should be in the range of 600 plus this year.
Okay. And any long-term targets that you've prepared for your company?
Saurabh, do you have something on it?
Yes, sir. We expected to reach 1,000 crore turnover in next 1,000 days.
Okay.
Without any additional capacity installation. Because presently we are running at a capacity of around 15%. So we have enough capacity if we want to manufacture the basmati rice. If we do not add even any new products to our portfolio also, then also the existing capacity is well enough to go up to 1,000 crore. And it is our plan to reach 1,000 crore turnover in next coming 3 years. That is 1,000 days.
Correct. And Saurabh, what will be the operating margins at that point of time? I understood that they vary at every stage, but blended margins, if you can give any guidance.
Sir, see, if we let me first talk about 2020-21, so it was nearly 1.93%, that is around 2% only. But if we see the result up to quarter 2, that is September 21st, then it has already reached near to 9%, this EBITDA margin. So we were expecting a double-digit margin in the coming year. So even in this year also, if we close this year properly as let's say 600 crores, then we are expected to reach more than 12 to 15% in this year itself. So going forward, it should reach, or let's say it might be about 20% in the coming 2-3 years.
20% of operating margins, correct.
Operating margin, yes, before depreciation and interest, sir.
Correct. And last thing I wanted to know is that till now you guys are only into basmati, right? And now you are expanding to salts also. So what is the potential that you see in this salt business? As the previous participant also asked that it's a competitive area. So what's the potential and what is your aspiration?
So thank you, sir. Please, sir, please.
Keval, the reason the company introduced salt is the most basic commodity that this country has seen. We come from the land of Gandhiji, and Gandhiji was the first one who gave Indians the right to, have salt, taking it, away from the clutches of the British. So the company also decided to, reach our basic consumer by introducing a product that they need in their daily lives. I mean, basmati is something which might not be geographically demandable in every geography in India, but salt is something which is required in each and every kitchen in this country. So our aim basically is to reach the remotest corners of this country with a product that not only has quality, but also has the name of the company embedded on it. And there was nothing that we could see apart from salt.
Correct.
May I also add something here? May I add something?
Yeah, please.
So as he said, what we are further planning in a southern market, we will also be distributing our salt along with our rice also. So whosoever purchases a particular amount of quantity, he will be given a free salt initially. The manufacturing and production will be starting post Diwali also. So initially, as sir said, it will reach to the kitchen, everyone's kitchen it will reach. But initially we will send it as a free marketing along with a quantity of some rice. So gradually people will have some taste, people will see some quality, and then accordingly we will start selling of the salt also.
And may I also add something like, as Ankur has said, we are also contemplating to add a few more.
ଆପଣ ଯେଉଁ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିଙ୍କ ସହିତ କଥା ହେଉଛନ୍ତି ସେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ କଲଟିକୁ ହୋଲ୍ଡରେ ରଖିଛନ୍ତି.
Hello.
So you may proceed.
Hello.
Yeah. As I think Saurabh has said, we are eyeing around 1,000 crores in the next 1,000 days. And as Ankur has said, we are also contemplating to add a few more products in our kitty, our basket of products. So without factoring that also, probably we'll be reaching the figure which we have envisaged. And with the new products added, it is going to add to our sales top line.
Okay, so 1,000 crores is only from basmati.
It is a mix. I mean, at this stage, it's difficult to really bifurcate how much from that. But by that time, we'll be definitely adding a few more products, and that is the minimum 1,000 crores.
Okay.
Keval, if I may add here,
Yeah.
there are certain products that the company sells for its sales turnover, and there are certain products that a company sells for its brand presence. So we are, as you said rightly, and as Parikh Saab added, it's very difficult for me to tell you a bifurcation between salt and basmati right now. But what I can add out here is that yes, salt is going to give me the visibility, and basmati is going to give me my butter. So that is how I'm going to look at it right now.
Okay. Correct. Understood. Thank you so much, and all the best for the future.
Thank you, Keval.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jitesh Prakash from Aegis International. Please go ahead.
Hello. I'm Jitesh from Aegis International. My question is, what is the company doing to maintain or improve profit margins?
Jitesh, yes, Jitesh, am I audible to you, sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, Jitesh. As I was mentioning to Keval earlier, our primary product is basmati rice grade 1121. So as I told you, the more we age our basmati, we can, command in the market. So we age it for 3 months, we get around, 4%. We age it for around a year, we get around 10%. And we age it for around 2 years, we get around 20%. So what first we are going to do is that we are going to age our product a little more so that we can, basically create margins in the market. So that is the first strategy that the company has. And I think that has borne fruit.
Mm-hmm. But how does borne fruit create a profit from that?
What I was trying to tell you is that, I'm going to age my product more, and my product is, in the same. See, I have different grades. I have grades like Jasper, I have grades like Jaisin, I have grades like Snowflake. So I'll be able to, push more Snowflake in the market, which is more in demand in the export markets. So automatically what happens is that my profit margins go up. And that has already borne fruit. If you look at my Q2 numbers, my, my EBITDA margins are already in the late 8 figures. And that should cross around the 2 digits in the next quarter.
Okay.
Mr. Prakash, do you have any further questions?
No, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next question is from the line of Yachit Mahajan from Protegro Wealth. Please go ahead.
Yes. You talked about increasing your marketing spends in the coming
Excuse me,
future. And
sorry to interrupt. Sir, we can't hear you that well. May we request you to use your handset, please?
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So you spoke about that you'll be having, then there'll be a national level ambassador in the coming future. So and I'm also seeing your the debt is decreasing, and looking at your future plans like to increase your reach in other states. So will we see increase in debt again? And if yes, then what will be the amount that we can see there?
So we'll divide your question into 2 parts. Shashi sir, can you please take the question on debt, and then I'll take the question on the marketing part. Is that okay, sir?
Yes, that's okay.
Can you repeat it, Ankur? Which
Shashi sir, Mr. Prakash wants to know whether our debt will increase, and if our debt will increase in any manner. I mean, he was looking at our balance sheet, and he found that our debt has been on the decreasing side right now. So he wanted to know about our debt plans. Am I right, sir?
Okay. I got it.
That's right.
In fact, you can see from the balance sheet, our debt has already come down from 48 crores to 39 crores or so, 38 crores in 2021. And our main aim is to be a debt-free company as soon as possible. So we'll definitely be reducing our debt, and will not go for the debt again. I mean, to the extent possible, we'll try to minimize it. That you can see from the figures also.
Yes, but looking at the very aggressive growth projections which you are having, like going to for covering more states and also having a marketing ambassador. So I just thought, will you be having more debt? Will you look at more debt or?
No, in fact, we are looking at a combo of all. Some debt obviously will be there, but our promoters are coming from a very well-to-do family and they are huge people they are behind to back them. So we'll go for a combo, like we'll go for the uninterest-bearing deposits, one, and the promoters can themselves bring in some capital, and whatever things shortfall, we'll also go for dates. A small number of shares can be issued. So it will be a combo, ideal combo where profitable for the company.
Okay.
And unsecured deposits, low interest-bearing deposits, non-interest-bearing deposits, that also we will be eyeing, as and when we require more and more funds.
Okay, thank you for that.
Do you want me to talk on the marketing strategy right now, sir?
If there is anything you can add on whatever you have spoken, then please go ahead. Otherwise, it's okay.
Yeah. As Mr. Parikh told you, and the promoters of the company are financially very substantially strong. So getting some funds from the promoters will not be a problem. I mean, whatever our basic marketing strategy is, that would be funded by the company out of its own cash accruals and whatever low interest bearing or non-interest bearing or equity portion which is brought in by the promoters. So we are basically looking at a very a realistic marketing campaign right now, which will not be either in the high single digits or maybe the low 2 digits. So that should not be a problem for us at this point of time, sir.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, please press star, then 1. The next question is from the line of Abhishek Sharma from GYR Capital. Please go ahead. Abhishek Sharma, your line is unmuted. Please proceed with your question. Please unmute the line from your side. Abhishek Sharma from GYR Capital, your line is unmuted. Please unmute the line from your side and proceed with your question. Sharma, your line is unmuted. Please proceed with your question. Participants who would like to ask questions, please press star, then 1. Anyone who wishes to ask questions, please press star, then 1. The next question is from the line of Karan Asli from Maximal Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, sir.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity and congrats on a good set of results. I just wanted to know how the demand has been domestically and even on the export side. I think with things subsequently opening up, how do you see the demand going? I know you have aggressive targets over the next couple of quarters, but if you could speak a little more qualitatively.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You're audible, sir.
Okay. See, regarding the demand, in fact, you are talking about the export market. We have been not exporting the export market so far. Whatever orders, and we have a huge battery orders, in fact, under negotiation for exports. But we have been passing it on to the merchant exporters. Once we can set our foothold in the export markets, we'll undertake direct exports. So that is going forward in the coming years. So we'll definitely go for direct export. So we already started our attempts in that direction. So, and our promoters have the long relationship, and they are in this type of business for quite some time. Number of years are there. So, contacting exporters and getting orders from local in India also is not a big problem.
Understood, sir. Do you think this might gain better traction in FY23? Do you see that as sort of the breakout year for exports, or will it be further down?
Sir, if I may just interject you here. To your previous question, I would add here the company in the present year has already export orders of nearly 60 crores in hand. So we already have that much of export orders sitting in our kitty, and maybe post Diwali the company will start exporting on its own. Basically, we have made a few test cases where we have been very successful, and post Diwali we would be starting our own exports.
Understood. And just one clarification on your comments earlier in terms of the utilization level. Was it 50% or 15? That is 50 or 15?
Saurabh, can you just shed some light on it?
Will you please repeat the question again, please?
I think you mentioned the current utilization levels at 50%. I was not sure whether that was 50 or 15.
Sorry, sir, which 50?
When you all mentioned the 1,000 crores revenue in 1,000 days without
Right. Yes.
So I think you all mentioned that you all are running at a certain utilization level at this point of time.
Yes. We are
How
present.
much is that?
Yes. It is 15% capacity utilization we are running at present. 15, not 50. That's 15.
Okay.
We have a 45 metric ton capacity per hour.
Right.
So considering that for a 3 shift and 24 hours, we are at present running at only 15%. So we can reach that turnover even if we do not add any further capacity in a basmati rice.
Understood, sir. And
Yes.
why is the utilization level so low? If I could
Sir,
ask.
actually, yes, sir. No, it is not in that way low because that 15% we have calculated considering the 24 hours working, which is technically possible and manually also possible. But at present we are running for a 2 shift only. So the thing is the plant is already capable of running up to that capacity, but at present we are running in a 2 shift and sometime when only 1 shift also, and considering that it is only 15%. But that is not that lower capacity utilization which represents a negative thing. This is the thing which is the capability of the promoters and the plant. We can run with that sort of production also.
Sure, understood.
Because
and
this is the yes.
No, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
If I may add to your question. Well, whenever you start with a venture like this, you always try to test the waters before you take a full swim. So right now we may be operating at a 15% capacity, but in FY22 if we start measuring our capacity, it would be much more than that. Probably we must have doubled our capacity utilization in the current year. And as we go for aging of rice, we'll have a high inventory sitting in our kitty. So at that point of time, automatically the utilization levels will again rise. So let's look at something like, not 15% what used to happen in the past, but something like in the range of 50-60% in the coming financial year.
Understood. Got it. And just following up on that, I think y'all, are kind of planning on prolonging the inventory and aging cycle. So do you all have enough warehousing area for this, or will you all need to kind of add to the warehousing capabilities and all that?
So I would like to take this opportunity and invite all our members in this conference call to visit our manufacturing premises settled at Sabarkantha district in Gujarat, in village Kabudari, Taluka Talod. So what I want to tell you here is please try and make a visit to our manufacturing facility. We have storage areas of more than 3 lakh square feet, and we have been initially a agro product trader. So we used to pile up that much of inventory in the past. It's only in the last 5 years that we have come out as a manufacturer, as a processor. But we have been in this trading business for the last 30 years. So as far as storage capacity is concerned, it will never be a problem with the company sitting on a 3 lakh square feet facility.
Understood. Understood.
And even if we are short of the storage facility, probably there are a number of godowns available on lease. So even for a short-term problem will not arise. We can create our own warehousing facilities also going forward.
Sure. Understood, sir. And just going back to the exports, just one more question. I think you all have now started to aggressively pursue exports. So is there a target sort of percentage you'll have for exports going forward? Like for example, out of this 1,000 crores, is there any sort of range that you would like to reach in terms of exports versus domestic?
As I said earlier, in fact, this 1,000 crores is just an estimate. We have neither factored into the range of products that we are adding, or we have neither factored into our export performance in that. Forward, the picture will look clear. This is an estimate which we have put. But even without exports or without the battery of products that we are going to introduce, this figure is just by utilizing the existing installed capacity, this figure is reachable. So we are very conservative in giving that figure of 1,000 crores. It may even cross that if exports also start flourishing in.
If I may add quantitatively to it, in the past we have been exporting through merchant exporters, and we had a very good experience about it because none of our export consignments are stuck. The payments are coming on time, and we have been able to generate some marginal, profits on it. But in the current year, what we are seeing is that there has been a huge market for export, and we are seizing this opportunity. But let me tell you that we are an extremely cautious corporate, and we'll not use the word aggression will here. We'll only be going it in very controlled quantities unless and until we have a total guarantee in the form of a letter of credit or maybe some advance payment coming in. We will not be taking it after this course. So right now what we have is that we have confirmed orders of 60 crores which are backed by either letters of credit or advance payments, and there is total risk mitigation in that portfolio. So we will then be seizing this opportunity in the current year. But in the next year, if for some reason there is some volatility in the export market, we'll be exercising restraint. But let me tell you here is that India is a very domestic consumption economy, so we will not be facing any problem in increasing our top line or keeping our top line constant.
Moreover, we are opening the office in Dubai also, as Mr. Ankur told you. That also will come to our help to push exports sitting in Dubai.
Definitely. Right. Great. Thank you so much for answering my questions patiently, and good luck for the coming quarter.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, please press star, then 1. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, please press star, then 1. Participants, to ask a question, please press star, then 1. Participants, to ask a question, please press star, then 1. Anyone who wishes to ask questions, please press star, then 1. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to Mr. Devdutt Nayak for closing comments.
Hi, thank you. So it was a great discussion that we had right now. So I now hand the conference over to Mr. Shashi Parikh, sir, as the finance head from Mishtan Foods Limited, for closing comments. So over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to all of you. I welcome and extend a welcome to the distinguished participants in this conference. Only I can say that Mishtan is a young company. It was listed in 2015, and the company is led by a very young MD who is in his mid-30s. And we are hiring. We already have a young team, and we'll be expanding the team of young people who will be striving hard and working hard to achieve greater heights in the years to come, days to come. And we can see from the results that very slowly, steadily, and carefully we are trading on the path of success. One thing which I would like to share is that there is a round-the-clock brainstorming taking place in Mithun among the team members. And I'll just quote one term which was coined by Frank Sinatra, the American singer and actor. He had said it for New York. He said, "The city never sleeps." I also told them to coin the same term here, Mishtan never sleeps. So there will be round-the-clock brainstorming, and we will be really striving hard to take Mishtan to a greater height. And I'm very sure that with this background, undoubtedly Mishtan is going to be a shining star on the horizon in the years to come. Thank you very much for participation, and all the best to you, and good evening.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Mishtan Foods Limited, that concludes this conference. We thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.